This is Infotainment, a basket for arts and entertainment. Ukamva sasi kulira chonchi umaziwa kuti nkhani za msanguluso zabwera. Ndikuwuzeni kuti kunali chani nkhani za msanguluso komanso kukhale chani nkhani za msanguluso. And my name is Sam Banda Jnr. In this edition, we talk about the French competitions returning to the fore this year, and spearheaded by Jacaranda Foundation as well as Maison de la France. And we look at the French Schools Drama Festival as well as the French storytelling as well as singing competition. That's Chantal and all those are back in the fold, and we speak to Poya Chapoteka, the director of French studies at Maison de la France. We also talk to youthful visual artist who is making strides in the work of visual art, and this is Martin Mouse, all the way from Blantyre. We also look at a number of stories, and one of them is a writer, youthful writer and a journalist by the name of Andrew Nyirenda, launching a book, a poetry anthology titled The Sleepless Melodies. We've got lots more to tell you in this edition of Infotainment. All you can do is stay right there as I bring you more in Infotainment, a basket full of arts and entertainment. Now we begin this edition of Infotainment with news that the French competitions are back in the fold after missing out for French drama. It's been a couple of years since, I think, should be 2020 when last they had this competition. So it's back in 2023, as well as the French story telling competition, which is competed for by universities and colleges in the country. And then we also have the singing competition coming back to the fore. We caught up with the director of French studies at Maison de la France, and that's Poya Chapoteka, to shed more light actually on the competition, the French competitions, and basically when they will take place. And for the first time, these the national finals of the French drama competition will take place in Lilongwe. This basically in 2023, it will be the 33rd edition of the French Schools Drama Festival. And then for the storytelling as well as the singing competition, the national finals will take place in Mzuzu for the first time as well. We hear from Poya Chapoteka.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Poya Chapoteka, je travaille avec Jacaranda Foundation, Maison de la France. Je suis directeur de cours et je vous invite tous à venir assister aux activités que nous organisons. Nous organisons un concours de contes pour les universités, un concours de théâtre pour les écoles secondaires et chantons en français pour l'école secondaire également. French is very vital. Not only in Malawi but all over the world. As you know, French is the second most taught language in the world. And you remember the president once went to Mozambique, and when he came back, he suggested that the teaching of French should be reinforced in schools. So that can show you. But as someone who was working at the Maison de la France, we have people who come to request for French lessons for different purposes, some for work, some for travel, some to study outside the country, some for fun, some even to get the French nationality. They also require the knowledge of French. You see, after the COVID, we missed some activities, so you see that these three activities, they are all coming at about the same time. We will start with in fact, we already started with the regional finals, the preliminaries for the storytelling competitions. Storytelling competition concerns three universities, namely Mzuzu University, Domasi, and Unima. So they've already selected the finalists. We are now waiting for the finals, which will be on the 11th February. Then on the 4th February, there will be the regional finals of the singing competitions. So the finalists of the singing competitions and the finalists of the storytelling competitions, we are going to meet at the Mzuzu University for the first time, holding 2 finals and in the north. It's going to be a great event. There's a lot of excitement on that one. So after the finals of the storytelling and the singing competitions, there will be the regional finals for the French drama on the 18th February. And that will be in the north, it will be at the Mzuzu University, and in the center it will be at Kuni Boys, whilst in the south it will be at Jacaranda. So after these regional finals, we will meet finally for the national finals, and for the first time again in Lilongwe on the 4th March.
Dessous à cause de leur couleur de peau. Il était également égoïste. Un jour,
j'ai réduit mon tennis.
une nuit lumineuse dans un petit village nommé Kumaz.
C'était une opération très compliquée, mais j'ai tout fait pour sauver ta vie.
Merci beaucoup, Allah. Merci beaucoup, Allah. Le bénisse mon fils.
J'étais votre fille d'aujourd'hui, mais votre mari a voulu me tuer parce qu'il est chrétien.
Mon père me demandait si j'allais bien. Et je lui avais répondu que j'allais tout à fait bien.
Yeah, those are some of the performances during the previous French competitions, the storytelling, as well as singing competition and drama. So drama is competed for by secondary schools in the country, and we've seen winners. Some of the schools that have done well include Marymount Secondary School from Mzuzu, and it won in 2020, the last time the French drama competition was held. And then we've had in the storytelling competition, Mzuzu University did well during the last time the event was held, and then there have been a number of winners in the singing competition. But all this, as Poya Chapoteka explained, is to do with the promotion and preserving of the French language. Basically, languages are good, and we need to make sure that we learn different languages, and French is one of the key languages that is used in the world. Remember, you're watching Infotainment, a basket for arts and entertainment, and my name is Banda Jnr, and that's the sound of the Nsasi. As I say, without the Nsasi, there is no infotainment. Without the Nsasi, there is no art. Without the Nsasi, there is no music. That's what we're talking about. That's the power of art, the power of music. Now, moving out of music, moving out of the French schools drama competition, as well as the other competitions in French language, we go to visual art, another exciting artistic discipline that is exploited in the country. We've seen a number of visual artists doing well on the ground, and one young man based in Blantyre has been breathing art. He's so passionate about art, and he even took it as a subject, and he did well in secondary school, passing with good grades in the subject of creative arts, and he went on to participate in the Sula professional initiative, which is spearheaded by University of Malawi, Unima. That's through what is called the Department of Fine and Performing Arts. So all good about it. And this is Martin Miles, and his strength basically lies in the fact that he uses the pencil. he uses the pencil, and he can draw live. All those attributes he has. So he's developing, and he believes with time he'll get to where he is going. We caught up with Martin Miles just to share more about his art, as well as he's done well, because now they have moved some of he has moved, and they have basically a place where they are showing some of their artworks, as well as guiding people on how they can excel in visual art. So let's hear from Martin Miles.
Nzimayi chimozimozi ndangosangalatsidwa kuti ndi mujambule kuona ndi maonekedwe ake amene amaonekera mochititsa chidwi. Koma pali chithunzi chimenechi ndachijambula ndipo ndi nkhani yake ndimachitchula kuti sensitivity. Umoyo wa mwana wina aliyense wa ku Africa umakhuzika ndi zinthu zilizonse zomwe zimachitika, kaya nkhondo, kaya njala kumene, kaya kumwalira kwa makolo. So zonse zija zimakhuza umoyo wa mwana wina aliyense. So ndikungokamba mmene ana amakhuzidwira, amakhala okhumudwa. Ngati mukamuonesesa uyu sikuti waonesa expression ina yake yosangalala, nda ali okhumudwa. Awa pali kupanga shading kuti tionese kuti chinthu chibwere realistic. Ndinangokonda chithunzi chomwe ndinachiona cha mwana uyu nangoti ndichijambula, so that was an inspiration. Kujambula inenso silimamvesesa pera ndinayambira, koma ndinayamba 2014 ndinkangojambula basi, ndazinzanga zosewera kuona news timakatuni tinatake basi kujambula. Nde patapita nthawi nayamba nokumva za luso lojambula, kuti ndi luso loti anthu amalichita kumapanga ngati ntchito yawo. So ndinayamba nokukhala ndi chidwi. Nditafika stadate ndinazasiya kujambula chifukwa ndimalemba mayeso. Nde anandisankhira ku seminary. Ndi ku seminary kuja maphunziro ake amalesa zoti uzipanga zinthu za extracurricular. Nde ndimapezeka zokuti ndasiyiratu kujambula, ngati kuyambira standard mpaka na form 1 ndasiyiratu kujambula. So ndinachoka ku pastor kupita ku social chifukwa cha zifukwa zina. Nde ku social kuli subject actually that's komanso kunala zinzanga amene amajambula ndi mapeso. Nde ndankhala zokuti luso laine layambiraso labweraso ndi mphamvu. So ndinayamba kulimbirira kujambula, kuonanso kuti subject ija pandisangalatsa, koma sindimayitenga. Ndinkangoona zokuti anthu aja akujambula, ndene ndinazoza zokuti ndizizipusisa ndekha kuti mpaka ndizafike ndikujambula bwino, koma sindinaphunzitsidwa ku school. So nditafika form 4 ndinamva zokuti mayeso ake amakhala ophweka, nde ndinangoyitenga kuti ndakangoyilipira kuti ndilembe mayeso. So ndakangowalemba mayeso aja kupezeka zokuti ndinakhoza bwinonso. So 2021 imene ndinalemba mayeso 2022 ndakhala no full time visual artist. Ndimajambula ano ngati ntchito ya ine kujambula mpaka ndayamba kujambula bwino. Ndakafika kuchasa college kukaphunzira za painting and drawing ndikutenga certificate. So that's mmene ndayendera mu Art Jnr. Zimenezozo anthu amazisenga choncho chifukwa vuto lomwe tilipo yoyamba ndiloti kukhanya information, trending information simayenda bwino. Anthu sitikumagawana information bwinobwino, ngati makolo athu sakutiuza mmene zimakhalira. Pali chikhalidwe china chake chomwe chinalipo kalero ndi chinali chopindulitsa kwambiri, koma sitimauzidwa ndi makolo athu. So luso lojambula ndi luso labwino kwambiri loti maiko akunja anthu akulemera nawo, akupanga nawo ndalama.
Yeah, that's Martin Miles. Exciting talent when you have young people exploiting their talents, and that's amazing. And we need to exploit all these talents. When we see these talents, let's utilize them, because you never know what will bring you to the top. And that's what Martin Miles is doing, by the way, in terms of showcasing what he is passionate of. Now, moving out of that, we go on to something about writing. Writing is amazing, and for those of you who love writing, then probably this is what you would also love, because another young man, a writer, he calls himself also an editor. He's a musician. He's a positive philosopher and a mental health advocate. He's launched a book titled "The Sleepless Melodies." It's a small book, but it's an anthology of poetry. There are 29 poems in this book. It's, as I've said, a very small book, and as somebody who has never published a book before, you start on a very small scale, and he's produced this smaller book, but then this is the beginning. I hope is going to continue. So as I said, 29 poems in this book, and apart from his own poems, I think there are also other poems written by other people, but the rest of them have been written by Andrew Nyirenda. The others, there's a poem titled Selfishness. It's been written by Tuntufye Sikwese, and then there's also another poem written by Doreen Gombeza, and there's also another one which has been written by someone, I think should be there's another one written by Sanford Charles Samwita. Is also one of those who's contributed to this great anthology of poetry. And then there's Priscilla Kachipapa has also contributed something. I'll read out one of the poems before I show you the highlights of the launch, which took place at the Raphael Tentani Center, that's at Mubas in Blantyre on Friday. And we had time to speak to Andrew Nyirenda, as well as the head of department in the media for media studies, and that's Dr. Jory Ntaba. So let me just randomly select, and there's a poem titled let's see, now is the time to change. So I'll just read one stanza. This one says, "You speak with a staggering mind, lacking sight, yet you are not blind, bragging and blabbering with pride that runs wild, but now is the time to change." So you can get this book. This is mine. I bought it actually when they were doing the launch. I decided to support this young man. But amazing when you have these young people coming out. Of course, we still have more time to improve. We still have more time to perfect ourselves, but still more when we take that step. It shows that we're taking the right step. So we're there, as I said, when Andrew Nyirenda was launching this book, and I had time to speak to Andrew Nyirenda as well as Dr. Jory Ntaba. Let's see what happened.
It wasn't because of me that day when the lost joy came back my way. No man offered it for free, but your grace couldn't let me be. It wasn't because of them on that road when the pressing handle turned cold. No man eased his drive to bind my all, but your grace and your infinite love couldn't let me fall. So how can I detest the healer of my soul? And to you, how can I say no? A man who breaks your heart repeatedly and yet forgiven undeservedly.
Actually, it's like a moment whereby one of your most long-term dreams is coming to life. So basically, I'm not only excited, but then I'm thankful as well, because it's been a very tiresome journey full of excitement and full of daunting moments as well, because as an artist, really, we face a lot of things while we're writing, both good and sometimes hurdles, which are disparaging and also discouraging in nature. But then you have to weave through that. As an artist, you have to be faithful, be positive. Really. So when that moment comes, when that dream you were fighting for, that dream you were chasing, oh, this wire really is lively. You know, it's always that, okay, it's always so very exciting and so very thankful, really. It's indeed a great thing, really. So, actually, I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude, overwhelmed with happiness, and most importantly, I'm just proud, not of myself, but then I'm just proud of my God. This book, if I am to be frank with you, I wouldn't say it was inspired by anything from me, but then it was inspired by a long-term need to use art in a way which would honor the Lord. I've always believed that talent is God-given. So it means one has to use talent in a way which is pleasing and in a way which is worthy to our Almighty God.
You see, most of the times a lot of university graduates have been accused of maybe acquiring knowledge and skill without actually putting it into practice. Now, you see, Andrew was one of our brightest students. He actually scored a distinction in his final year. And it actually shows that he wasn't just very good in class, but at least he was also putting into practice what it was that he was actually learning. So you can actually see the difference that he's made from the skills that he's actually acquired within a period of 1.5 years. He's actually produced and managed to publish his first book. And I believe this is going to be a stepping stone towards other bigger things to come. So my word is, Andrew has actually shown you that it is very possible to not always count on being employed, because I think that's the mentality that most of the graduates have. You know, let me finish my education, get employed. But Andrew is actually showing you, you know what, there are other alternatives that you can actually get. For example, you can get employed. So my advice is that let's exploit our talents and then use them without actually waiting to get employed. So at least if you get employed, it should be a plus. But you shouldn't suffer simply because you couldn't get employed. Use your God-given talents.
Yeah, that's how it was during the launch of a book, The Sleepless Melodies by Andrew Nyirenda at Mubas in Blantyre. That's on Friday, and you heard from Dr. Jolene Taba, and then the main man himself, Andrew Nyirenda. And as I said, keep writing. Let's keep writing because it's important. To some AOBs now, Jacaranda Cultural Center, which has been hosting different artistic events, who have no home because basically the owners of the place where they conduct their business at the moment, that's at Jacaranda Cultural Center in Mandala, Blantyre, they want their premises, so they've terminated the contract despite the Jacaranda Cultural Center renewing the contract, but then they want their premises. So now Jacaranda Cultural Center will have no home. We do hope they'll find another space for their activities, because they've done quite a lot in terms of giving a platform to the creative industry. And again, the organizers of the Miss Culture Malawi have announced that the 2023 edition will take place in Lilongwe. That's in July. And this year, they are also introducing what they call the Mrs. Culture Malawi. So we're going to see, and we'll bring you the highlights once they hold this event. And also the Miss Heritage Malawi will take place in April. We'll be following up with this, and we'll give you more highlights on that, as well as more information. And Lake of Stars is coming in May, but the organizers are yet to bring out the information, so we'll be following this up as well. On that note, we've come to the very end of Infotainment, a basket for arts and entertainment. I always say, let's continue to love art, let's continue to support our creatives. I'll finish off with an interview we had with Rick Deja, who has been in the country, and he's been supporting a number of artists in the country, including black missionaries, and he's a lecturer at the University of Cape Town in South Africa. He was in the country recently he had a performance with Waliko Makala and others, and we had an interview just to find out how he's been doing in South Africa, as well as how he sees Malawian music. I'm out of here. My name is Sam Banda Jr. Keep it times as well as Infotainment. Ciao.
Teaching very busy, and now I'm looking forward to transitioning to doing some more performances. It's great. You know, we try to do a lot of that with different artists from different African countries who visit South Africa. We've had artists from Nigeria, Ghana, and Uganda, and now Malawi with Patrick Chimbewa. The students really got on well with him. You know, a lot of students learn a similar instrument, Mbira, Nyunga Nyunga from Mozambique, and now he brings Sansi, and so the students get to see the variety of traditional African instruments, even in that instrument that is very similar, but differences all around the continent, and it was just brilliant, and yeah. No, it's good. It's always great to play with musicians here. It is a second home. Maybe it's now my first home, you know. And it's interesting to see over time how the Malawian songbook kind of expands. And so people like you know, the Onwilizis and the Waliko Makalas, they're like curators of Malawi music from, you know, Zakaligali, right, until tomorrow. So I think it's important to kind of pay attention to that while also looking at the youth, because, you know, it's a goal. I love that, and I mean, look, the youth should do whatever they feel is relevant to them, but my experience in Cape Town as well as here, it's important that the youth have all the options available.